to right and right to left. They looked terribly frightened. They did not know what direction they could flee to. I felt numbed. Then my father and mother both told me simultaneously, "You are right. You are a prophet. You talked about these things." I said nothing to them as they spouted to me that I was right about these things. Then the last thing that took place inside this dream was that I was witnessing white people and black people running everywhere, so they could avoid being hit by the multitudes of rocks, fragments that were flying down from the sky, and most of the dark rock fragments were zipping across the gray sky. Now the atmosphere of the streets were flooded with pandemonium. Then I spotted, which I believe, a large rectangular object about the size of a small car, four towards an automobile that had a white lady standing on top of it. And it has several illustrations of what I see in this particular dream. Okay, so the first thing, like I said in this dream, I see my nephew coming inside the house. Okay, and this is what he looked like in the front. He had blisters on the top of his head, up there, down here as well. And when he turned around, I seen blisters or whatever they were in the back of his head and on top of his head. And then when I go on, partially going on top of the roof of my house, whether I was in Halsey Street or Ashley Street, I looked up, and like I say, it was a very blue sky I took notice of, and I seen the sun on one side, I seen the moon on the lower side. And this is a concept of what I seen. This is my illustration of what I saw in this particular dream. The sun is there, and the moon is here. Like I said, I wasn't sure if the moon was a half a moon or whatever, but this more or less is what I see. And then simultaneously I seen something coming in, eclipsing the moon and eclipsing the sun at the same time. Now we know when there's a lunar eclipse, there's usually when there's like a lunar eclipse, it's usually when the earth is casting a shadow on the moon and nothing else. Or when there's a solar eclipse, it's usually when the moon comes in front of the sun. And from our vantage point on the earth, we can see the moon blacking out the sun. But in this dream, I see two objects. One was for the sun, trying to eclipse the sun, and another one was trying to eclipse the moon. And you see it was different levels. So the sun was up here, the moon was down there, and these things more or less were in alignment with the sun and the moon. And after these things going past the moon and the sun, the next thing, like I said, I see on the upper left side of the sun exploded, black soot, and then I heard a very muffling sound, and the sky above me, literally, I seen it in my dream. A thin layer of vibration, it more or less, like the atmosphere more or less just rippled. And then the earth shook for about a second or so. And this is my illustration, my drawing of what I see happening on the upper left side of the sun when the object passed it. And after that, I see meteors shooting across a gray sky. And I see meteors also falling down from the sky. And lastly, in this dream, I see a very big meteor falling. And this meteor was on its way to crush a lady who actually stood upon a car. The next number in this piece is the number 8. This piece is called Section 10, 6 Sun Dream, or S10, 6SND. In the month of June 6, 2010, I recorded this dream inside my dream book. Today I dreamt that I seen a little black boy walking down an inner city street alone. This child might have been 9 or 10 years old. The little boy looked like me when I was 10 years old. The child walked quickly as if he was trying to leave a particular neighborhood in a hurry, or was trying to enter back into his neighborhood in a hurry. It was daytime and the little kid wore a white t-shirt. I sensed no fear around him. The next thing that took place inside this dream was that I heard a possible news report mentioning something about the sun. Then I looked up towards the sky and I seen a reddish or orange sphere in the sky above. Next, I found myself walking along or around a project or near projects. Then I noticed 3 black young men who were now walking in front of me. I quickly decided to pick up my pace so I can walk ahead of them. I placed myself in front of them. Then one of the 3 black guys had grabbed me from behind and had gone into my pants back pocket, and then he took out my passport. Next, I found myself inside an apartment with these guys. The guy who stole my passport was now on a phone speaking to someone on the other end of the phone. While he was speaking on the phone, he looked at me as he ripped up my passport in half. I also seen a slightly overset black woman who appeared to also have been kidnapped as I was, and then brought into this apartment that I was still standing in. The black woman looked scared. I was not really myself, but I was curious as to why I was brought here. Then I believe one of the 3 guys inside this apartment had drawn a small gun at me. Then somehow I found a way out of this apartment, because the next thing I seen in this dream was now I was in another apartment with an elderly, light-skinned black man who looked like my father. I believe he had a cane in his hand. I felt as if we were on the top floor of this building, which was a private house of the sort. We were in the kitchen. The kitchen walls appeared to have panels on it. Then 3 panels by the kitchen window began to bulge outward. The old man and I automatically knew that people from next door of this house were trying to break through the kitchen walls so that they could get inside this place. The elderly man became afraid and he mumbled something to me. I then told him, wait here while I run outside and call for help. I left this apartment and I headed down a long flight of stairs. As I continued down the stairs, I was stopped by a black person who looked like my dead brother, who now was trying to prevent me from leaving this building. I pushed him away from me. As I ran down the stairs, this person said something to me. He was incoherent. And just before I stepped on a last few steps, I heard the old man back upstairs scream. After I heard the old man scream, I quickly opened this building door, and now I was outside, and I beheld multitudes of inner city people running everywhere, every which way. People were in the streets and some were on the sidewalk. I spotted an unused payphone, and I gone straight towards the payphone that I spotted.